What are your thoughts today? Thoughts on Sheduer Sanders, the Steelers, and their contract extension with TJ Watt. The top 100 lists going around. I have some thoughts on that, of course, as well. And we'll give a little thought here about the Cleveland Browns linebacker room as we are ready for training camp to begin on Friday with the reporting of the Cleveland Browns 2025 rookie class. All this and more. Browns 3D on the OBR begins now. Welcome back, my friends, to the show that never ends, your daily delivery of all things Dog Pound Browns 3D on the OBR streaming network. I am your host, Jeff Lloyd, and all of us here at the OBR appreciate everybody who comes out daily here to the OBR for their favorite written content from their favorite group of Cleveland Browns writers. And of course, everybody who joins us every evening for the OBR streaming network beginning at 6 o'clock with Browns 3D. After us this evening, you will have All Eyes on Cleveland, Brad Ward, Casey Kinnaman, always a fantastic duo. Make sure you are subscribed to the OBR on YouTube. Make sure you're subscribed to the OBR over on Twitch. And as always, thanks for tuning into the OBR streaming network. And if you like the programming here, please make sure to check out the OBR.com website and especially our VIP premium service. VIP subscribers get Ask the Insiders, where Lane Atkins and our other writers answer all your questions. Lane by himself is worth the price of admission. As soon as you renew your membership after the first month or year, you get Paramount Plus with Showtime thrown in for free. Guys, that pays for itself with your subscription to the OBR. Ask around, ask your friends. The VIP package here at the OBR, second to none. We're going to start here first. The top 100s that go around this time of year. And this is kind of right around with the Mount Rushmore of each franchise. They're fun, but the top 100s, what do they actually mean right now? Okay. There's not a lot of new news. That's about to change imminently, certainly for the Cleveland Browns and other teams who might be in training camp or other teams that are headed to training camp. But everybody gets up in arms about these NFL top 100 rankings. Well, here's the fact. The top 100 rankings is based on 2024. So with training camp about to begin, there is nothing more that makes any more sense for fans to get aggravated about is a ranking that is basing players on the previous year. We're here. It is 2025. It is about to begin. So I understand why they're created. I understand it takes a lot of effort to create these lists. But you are literally arguing about player rankings based on a season that has been done for 6 months. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. The Pittsburgh Steelers and TJ Watt have agreed to a contract extension, and now TJ Watt is the highest paid non-quarterback in the NFL. I don't care about anybody getting their money. If you can get it, God bless you. But here's the fact of the matter. The Pittsburgh Steelers just gave a contract to TJ Watt that no other team in the NFL would. Nobody would have made TJ Watt the highest paid non-quarterback in the NFL. The second half of the 2024 season, TJ Watt was on a milk carton. Couldn't find him in the boxcar. Barely saw him on the field. He was there. You just didn't see him doing anything. There was talk that maybe Pittsburgh would have entertained trading Watt as opposed to extending him. For what Pittsburgh would have wanted for TJ Watt, nobody was going to pay. The Pittsburgh Steelers, with their 3-4 front, odd man front, has TJ Watt standing up most of the time. Not many defenses for TJ Watt to go to and have that role. It's just not a thing that much anymore in the NFL. A player like Myles Garrett could seamlessly transition from his role with a hand in the dirt in a 4-3 defense to a stand-up guy in a 3-4. TJ Watt would not work the other way around. Couldn't play in a 3-4. Would probably get erased in a 4-3. Now, TJ Watt has been an extremely, extremely good and effective player in his time with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm not questioning that. But the contract extension he was just given is supposed to be for what he's going to be able to do for the Pittsburgh Steelers here and in the years to come. And if 2024 was an indication, what it tells me is that TJ Watt's play is about to slow down. He's not going to have the same production he has had in years past. The Pittsburgh Steelers made a mistake on this deal. They rewarded a player who has produced for them. And when I say produced, literally just statistically, because this is a franchise that has not won a playoff game in the entirety of TJ Watt's career with the team. I understand it's all in for the Pittsburgh Steelers after the acquisition of Aaron Rodgers. But all into what? You're still not better than the Kansas City Chiefs. You're still not better than the Baltimore Ravens. You are still not better than the Buffalo Bills. There's other teams that I'm not sure you're better than. Heck, I'm not sure if the Pittsburgh Steelers are better than the Houston Texans. And you can say, oh, I'm a Browns guy, this, that, and the other thing. That's fine. I understand Pittsburgh's a better team than Cleveland right now. Doesn't matter. The Browns doesn't mean that the Browns still won't split with them next season because that's what they do. The Pittsburgh Steelers are all in, and this is the biggest fool's gold I think I have ever seen. The possibility of this team just spontaneously combusting is there. It truly, truly is. So congratulations to TJ Watt and his money. And for the Pittsburgh Steelers, your season is going to end just like every other season has ended. And for the entirety of TJ Watt's career, you're not getting any further than you ever have. This contract is going to look very bad for the Pittsburgh Steelers and very quickly. Sheduer Sanders. And this is the thing. You saw the video, obviously, yesterday. Apparently in a complex, an apartment complex, severe fire. Whole bunch of kids and families in a bad, bad way, obviously losing their homes. Well, Sheduer Sanders pulls up, of course, with Mike Hall with him. I'm not sure who else is there. I'm just basically accounting who we know was there. The kids freak out. Sheduer spends some time with the kids, tries to lift their spirits. He and Mike Hall play a little ball with the kids. But here's what this is about for Sheduer Sanders. You get star athletes. And look, Sheduer Sanders is a star athlete. But you get star athletes who just don't act or don't feel that they are necessarily stars or feel that they are necessarily better than anyone else. And playing on the field is ultimately going to matter, of course, in regards to what Sheduer Sanders ultimately will or not be with the Cleveland Browns. Other than the 2 stupid speeding tickets that got everybody in a blaze, you've gotten to see basically a lot of common man out of Sheduer Sanders. Willingness to help others. Willingness to just meet those who want to meet him. Take pictures. Sign autographs. He's not your everyday, modern-day athlete, Sheduer Sanders, by any means whatsoever. And when you see things like you saw yesterday, and we saw when he first got to Cleveland, it's really, really difficult not to like this kid and to end up ultimately be rooting for him and hopefully rooting for him to cement himself as a starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns as soon as possible, and hopefully for a decade. What we've seen of this young man to this point is just crazy impressive. Putting others before himself, being so free and giving of his time. His work ethic appears to be off the charts, all about ball, constantly honing his craft on a daily basis. Not that other athletes aren't. It's really, really becoming more and more that I think everybody is uniting in the hopes that Sheduer Sanders, when he does get his opportunity, just takes this gig and runs with it. Rookies report tomorrow for the beginning of 2025 NFL training camp. So, of course, Mason Graham, number 1 pick. And, of course, the second pick the Cleveland Browns made in the 2025 NFL draft. Linebacker Carson Schwesinger out of UCLA. At the time, it was the pick none of us saw coming. I think the reason none of us saw it coming is because none of us wanted to basically have the belief of what ultimately happened with Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. The fact that he would be out for the entirety of the 2025 season. The first reaction from me at the time, of course, was with the announcing of the Carson Schwesinger selection was, this is not good for Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. And we found out shortly after that, yes, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah will actually sit out all of 2025 in the hopes of getting his body right to resume his playing career somewhere in 2026. Schwesinger is certainly a feel-good story. His first 2 years at UCLA didn't really do much other than play special teams. His third year at UCLA actually moved a couple of guys around to create and open the Mike linebacker position for Carson Schwesinger. Led the nation in tackles. The film speaks for itself. He's bigger than the modern day NFL linebacker. Extremely athletic. The tape really blew you away at UCLA. You know, everybody uses the term sideline to sideline, tackling machine, nose for the ball, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And all those superlatives and all those lines absolutely applied to watching Carson Schwesinger play defense for the UCLA Bruins. Whether it was coverage on the hip of backs and tight ends, whether it was blitzing, 3.5 sacks, hit the gap 100 million miles an hour. It was the pick that nobody knew was coming at the time. But it very well could be the pick that saves the Cleveland Browns defense in 2025 and for the future. The Cleveland Browns defense against the run in 2024 was horrible. They just got gashed. Offensive lines just manhandled them. The offense was always more physical than the Browns defense. Such a stark contrast to 2023 where they're always, heads to the ball, hats to the ball. It wasn't like that in 2024. And if one guy didn't make the play, it usually resulted in a 15, 20, 25-yard gain. Carson Schwesinger is here to hopefully change all that. Jordan Hicks, I would say his first year with Cleveland. When he was on the field, Jordan Hicks was pretty damn good. Understandably so. At his age, a little bit more difficult to stay healthy at that age, certainly than it is for younger guys in the league. But Hicks on the field, you saw the intelligence, you saw the leadership. He's a good player. If the Browns can get a healthier Jordan Hicks here in 2025, I'm sure the production will speak for itself. But they're looking at it realistically. We're already closer to the end of Jordan Hicks' time with the Cleveland Browns than we are the beginning, as he will be yet another impending free agent at the end of the 2025 season. His knowledge, his leadership, limitless, of course, and he's proven that wherever he has played in the NFL. Should be a very, very good teammate for Carson Schwesinger to lean on as a rookie and learn from as a rookie just on the NFL side. But for Carson Schwesinger, I don't think there's nothing that's going to stop this guy from reaching his top potential. And just it was a 1-year jump at UCLA based on basically 1 year of playing time. You have to believe that there is yet another jump going to come with Carson Schwesinger's game. Maybe by the middle of 2025 or by the end of 2025. And you're going to see that the Browns drafted a top shelf linebacker. The linebacker room certainly is going to be interesting to watch the rest of it play out. Devin Bush re-signed, and Devin Bush played well in 2024. There's a handful of guys that you can say played well in 2024, but nobody really knows about it or nobody really talks about it just because the overall product ended up as a 3-14 team. Bush was never the starter, was never probably meant to play the amount of snaps that he did. Certainly injuries thinned the room and gave more time to Devin Bush, who played well. He's back here on another 1-year deal. A little bit different this time, of course. Certainly a offseason transgression for Devin Bush as well. Still working through the legal process on all that. But he's a guy that obviously is in line for time. He's a guy that is in line to contribute. Could end up playing more than Jordan Hicks. You never know. Mahmoud Diabate, and I think you're probably getting to the point here where it's going to be tough here. Browns are going to camp. I believe it's 8 linebackers that are coming to camp. It's a team that usually keeps 5 linebackers, 4 and 5. Certainly, special teams needs to be the calling card, and that's really kind of been the case for Mahmoud Diabate in his time here with the Browns. Hasn't played a ton at the actual linebacker position. I think it's time to give him an opportunity to see if there, is more that he can contribute there. But he's certainly been a good special teams player for this team. We'll see if the role grows. And again, Diabate is another guy that's going to be in that situation of possible last year with Cleveland. And so it's amazing when you look at a team to start an NFL season, and then once you dig through it and see how many guys actually could possibly be in their final time, the roster turnover in the NFL is just insane sometimes. Diabate, certainly a huge opportunity for him. Winston Reed, and I have a lot of respect for Winston Reed because certainly last year at times for the Browns, there were times where they just, you needed that guy that could just basically be the handyman. And Winston Reed was that, whether it was playing defense, whether it was playing special teams, whether it was being a fullback, being an extra tight end. Winston Reed jumped at the opportunity anytime, hey, I need a guy. Oh, I'm that guy. But the numbers are going to be tight here this year. You've already got guys who, kind of tenured here with the Browns at the linebacker position in Diabate. Bush coming back. Jerome Baker is going to be a fan favorite, and he hasn't even taken a live rep yet for the Browns. But certainly the local guy with the Ohio State ties. Certainly going to be a factor for the Browns here in 2025. Mookie Watson, day 3 pick from the 2024 draft. Got to play a little bit in 2024. Nothing to write home about. Played a little specials. Not sure that's where he's going to be able to excel enough to maybe stick around. The Browns got to whittle this group of 8 down to 5. Also here in camp, Easton Massacarenas Arnold, MCA. If you're a Beastie Boys guy, right? Certainly has a huge, huge uphill battle to fight here for this team trying to get playing time. So this team right now, and you look at it, it's a group of 8 linebackers that are coming to camp with Jordan Hicks, with Carson Schwesinger, Devin Bush, of course, Mahmoud Diabate, also Winston Reed, Jerome Baker, Mookie Watson, and MCA. All here for the Browns in training camp this year. They're going to have to whittle this group down. And it's going to be interesting. They have to have this group step up. This defensive group collectively needs to play better against the run. And believing the linebacker group is probably going to be, again, the five that make it: Hicks, Schwesinger, Bush, Baker. And then it's tough. I think it's probably going to end up being Mahmoud Diabate just because of his experience as a special teams player for this team. Again, I'm not the biggest proponent, and I am not going to back linebackers all that much. You either got a great one, or hopefully your team's playing a lot of more nickel and dime. It's just the way the game goes. That's why I think the future for Schwesinger is very, very bright, because he is athletic enough that he is not going to come off the field. Sideline to sideline, the tackling ability, the coverage ability, certainly going to take some work to get acclimated to the NFL game, the speed, the pace, the strength of the opposing players. But I mean, the sky is probably the limit here for this young man. The Browns, and now you're seeing that these second round players are, slowly now agreeing to their contracts and reporting at training camps for teams. And part of the reason that was making that so cloudy was certainly what the Cleveland Browns did in regards to Carson Schwesinger. Browns were so much high in their confidence of what Carson Schwesinger is going to be for this team. They gave him a guaranteed contract, which kind of set off a lot of issues and tough sledding for other teams to negotiate with their second round picks. Certainly the Browns and Judkins, but now, of course, obviously there's more to that than just, your traditional contract situation. The Browns believe Schwesinger is going to be a difference maker. That was their confidence level in selecting him. That was their confidence level in guaranteeing all 4 years of his rookie contract. It's going to be a key unit, certainly a unit with potential. I mean, Baker was a former starter. Devin Bush was a former starter. We know Hicks has been a starter in this league. We know that Carson Schwesinger has this high level of potential. And of course, Mahmoud Diabate has gotten a run and has proven that, in a linebacker room, he can kind of be the fourth or fifth guy whose most of his role consists of special teams and excel there. He's been a solid player for this team in that regard. Can he crack into actual reps at the linebacker position? That's what training camp is for. And of course, that's what preseason games are for. We're only a day away. One sleep away. And the official journey of the 2025 Cleveland Browns season will be underway. We'll get the rookies in tomorrow. Sheduer, Dylan Gabriel, and of course Graham, and of course Schwesinger, Fannin, Dylan Sampson. Again, my belief is the Cleveland Browns will either excuse Quinshon Judkins entirely, or Quinshon Judkins will officially report to training camp, and then the Browns will extend him a leave of absence while this legal process works out, due to Quinshon Judkins being taken in by authorities last Saturday. Again, I'm not sure how any of this is going to go in 2025. I really just don't know. And I always do this time of year. My confidence level just builds. Nothing's changed, right? Nothing's changed for me to get more excited about the potential of the Browns. But the closer we get to training camp, and certainly sitting here on the eve of training camp, my excitement level begins. So I think my missing of football and my excitement level that football is working its way back full time into our lives maybe dummies myself into believing the hopes are higher than they could possibly be. But you never know. What if Joe Flacco, instead of the way he closed the 2023 regular season for the Browns, maybe he starts the regular season in 2025 for the Browns on a hot streak? No, not saying it can't happen, right? We've already seen Joe go on a hot streak for this team within this offense. Certainly there's some different moving parts there now, but you would rather have Jerry Jeudy today than Amari Cooper. So Jerry Jeudy just becomes the Amari Cooper that was there for Joe. Certainly, the possibility, of David Njoku performing better and being healthier than he was in 2024 exists. Jerome Ford, it was such this weird scenario that, the Browns drafted the two running backs and now there was an issue with one of the rookie running backs, and here's Jerome Ford again, kind of the forgotten guy, but the guy who was the best running back for the Cleveland Browns in 2023 and in 2024. So it's not like Jerome can't do it. We certainly have seen him do it. Dylan Sampson. Again, very excited about Dylan Sampson. Really thought Sampson would go higher. And there was always going to be running backs that were going to fall in the 2025 draft just due to the fact that there were so many of them. And obviously each team was going to have them, of course, on their boards differently. Still very, very satisfied that the Browns got him, and certainly got him where they did. Very, very big time performer in the SEC on a Tennessee team that obviously made it to the playoffs. Quickly bounced. By who again, guys? Who did the Vols lose to last year in the playoffs? Yeah, that's right. It's, the defense is kind of, I just don't think they can play worse than they did in 2023. And to be fair, I think some of it became emotional towards the end of 2023. I think, just the constant losing, the constant playing from behind, you ended up with a defense that was just beaten. They certainly were injured, but beaten and just kind of maybe mentally and physically broken down. Certainly looking for a major level of improvement from this defense. Again, I keep talking about this defensive line, and there is now a young core there with Myles Garrett that should be together for several seasons. And it's something that this Browns team has not had in the 9 years I've been covering this team since 2017. There is a core now on the defensive line, a core of great, potentially to be great players that will play together on this defensive line for years to come. It's hard to believe that Greg Newsome and certainly Martin Emerson in contract years are not going to be more improved here in 25 than they were in 24. How does the safety position shake out opposite Grant Talbot? And it seems we do this every year. We talk about the Browns and their struggles with the free safety position. They thought they addressed it a couple of times, and neither one of those free agent signings worked, of course. But I wouldn't exactly call it, Christmas morning that training camp is opening. Christmas morning is definitely more, week 1 when it all begins. But we're getting close, kids. Football is here. Football is back. And even though at times the Cleveland Browns make us absolutely crazy and angry, we still love it. We absolutely still love it. Again, all of us here at the OBR appreciate everybody coming out every day, reading all the written work on the OBR.com, joining us every evening on the OBR streaming network, beginning at 6 o'clock with me and Brown's 3D. Many, many other shows throughout the week. Today, again, Thursday, Brad Ward, Casey Kinnaman, All Eyes on Cleveland. Stick around. They'll be up at 7 o'clock. Make sure you get yourself the VIP subscription to the OBR. It's a ton of information. You get things that you're just not getting from others in regards to Cleveland Browns coverage. Absolutely worth your money. If you don't believe me, reach out to those who have it and go ahead and get yourself all juiced up for training camp here. Cleveland Browns style, of course. Make sure you subscribe to the OBR on YouTube. Make sure, of course, that you subscribe to the OBR over on Twitch. This has been your daily delivery of all things Dog Pound. Browns 3D on the OBR streaming network. And we will talk to y'all tomorrow.